Hello, folks. Dr. Matt Moynihan here, giving an October 22 update on the state of fusion. I just got back from the American Physical Society Dense Plasma Physics Conference in Spokane, Washington. The event was abuzz this year with talk of fusion startups. When I think about it, the last year has been completely insane. The last 14 months, we saw ignition on the National Ignition Facility, MIT and Commonwealth break a world record. Helion and CFS raised $2.3 billion. Jet had a 54 megawatt run out of a 100 megawatt driver. Chinese ran east for over 17 minutes. Then the UKAEA got neutrons with first light. Tokamak Energy broke 100 million degree Kelvin plasma. Zap Energy got neutrons verified by Livermore. And then there was a Whitehouse Summit and the announcement of a new public-private partnership Milestone Program. This year has been an inflection point for fusion. It seems increasingly clear that this field is going to be dominated by startups. And the public sector has to get on board or suffer the consequences. We saw talks from Oak Ridge National Laboratory and from Livermore geared around that concept, especially Oak Ridge. And geared around a public design for a fusion reactor, mostly geared around a tokamak design. But there was a divide at the conference. There was a certain percentage of people that were there for startups, and there was a certain percentage of people that wanted to continue to do this great science called plasma physics, and they weren't interested in startups. I would characterize the divide as people who want to be Steve Jobs versus people who want to be Stephen Hawking. People who want to win Nobel Prizes as contrasted against people who want to apply private dollars and are in fusion to do fusion energy to fight climate change. I think there's always going to be that percentage of the community that can't see a vision to a power plant. I certainly am starting to see a vision to a power plant. So the other problem that most scientists are 2 inches from a problem. And so that's the scope of their attention. They often cannot see how their problem fits in the broader context because they don't have the 20,000 foot view of fusion technologies. And because it's so new, they struggle to communicate this stuff. So we are moving basically at the speed of public communication. As this knowledge gets out of the fusion community and out of silos inside organizations and out into the general public, that's as fast as we will see investment dollars come in from either the public or the private sources. It's also as fast as we can train up new workers. The fusion companies are rate limited by the amount of people that understand this. So we need a large effort to educate the general public about what's going on in plasma physics. So I would urge anyone listening to this that's inside the fusion community to consider editing Wikipedia and get your material out the door in a format that's consumable by the general public or the general reader. And I'll just pick some articles I think need work. The IFE power plant article on Wikipedia is a disaster. It seriously lacks even photographs, pictures, citations. There's a 50-year history here that's just totally not included. And also the Nike laser concept from NRL, that article is very woefully underinformed and inaccurate. And Nike has some amazing claims to fame. It shot 90,000 shots in about 10 hours at a hertz rate of 2.5 hertz. So it just went bang, 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 which is incredible because that's what you need for an ICF power plant. And then the NRL also has a pulse power system that can go 13.5 million shots that they demonstrated over 2 weeks. So they have a pulse power system that's incredible and a laser system that's incredible, both suitable for a fusion power plant. I also went to some other conferences this past month. I was in Pittsburgh for the Global Clean Energy Action Forum, which was pretty wild. It was a community of people that do COP26. So all the diplomats and their corresponding staffs from over 30 nations were in Pittsburgh to do sort of these intermediary conferences between COPs around action, around clean, green technologies. And so the numbers are immense. By 2050, we have to have huge amounts of green energy deployed on the grid, and solar and wind just aren't enough. Nuclear needs a place. Fusion is many times a fission power plant. That's why it could be quite potent in fighting climate change. There's a boatload of money basically looking for fusion energy. And the problem is we need to build a bridge between these two communities. We need to build a bridge between the people talking and fighting climate change and the plasma physicists at the APS meeting. I also was at the Rice Energy Ventures Forum, which was in Houston, and that was also eye-opening because financial institutions, large oil firms, they are also looking for a clean energy solution. And they're trying to model fusion by 2050, and they have absolutely no idea what it's going to look like, how it's going to be financed, how it's going to be regulated. They can't include it in the model. It's like this X factor really changes how they view climate change. Again, I'd like there to be a bridge, and I believe that education from the fusion community to these outside communities is really critical. Internally in the fusion community, most fusion researchers don't actually know about all the other developments that are happening across their own community, let alone other people. So we've got to get this material out of these silos. We absolutely have to if we want to have a fighting chance against climate change in 2050. It was a great conference. Generally, just jumping back to APS, some of the coolest things I saw were the modular stellarator design coming from Princeton. They have a machine called Muse, which is a simple prototype tabletop thing where they used an algorithm to optimize the magnetic fields, and then they designed a magnetic configuration using little tiny permanent magnets, and then they 3D printed a shell around the outside, and they've got this simple way to build a stellarator. Now, they formed a company around that, and that company, Princeton Stellarators Incorporated, is set to grow. So if you're an investor, I'd look at them. There's also another called Stellar X. You should consider that. And then there's another company emerging from NRL that I won't mention here. It's an exciting time. We need to get this information out of silos. Fusion researchers don't realize how much money is on the table. And then the people that are looking for climate change solutions don't realize how advanced fusion is and how many different technologies are out there. So building this bridge between these two worlds is really important, and public education is really where we need to go. We need to have more YouTube videos, more Wikipedia articles, more books coming out of the community. We need to talk and get there to be more of a cultural shift inside the labs. If you're in government, you need to think about setting a directive to the national labs to get behind fusion energy, because the lab administrators don't know if there's clear direction from Washington on this. They still are going under these old paradigms of this is a nuclear weapons program or this is a science program, and not this is an industry with a real clear mandate. Yeah, and then if you're a regulator, you need a better understanding of what's going on in this fusion space. The regulatory stuff could be totally mishandled. They treat fusion like fissioning, so they could get it wrong. And if they do get it wrong, the industry will suffer. So that's my update from October 2022. Look for more material. I am selling a report. Any investors are interested. It's an entire look at the entire space. It was assembled with 300 man hours, and we have a complete picture of what's going on out there. So very exciting times. Take care. Bye.